Today I bring you some more Patreon news for the War of the Worlds game and talk about a sneak peek at some of the new features that haven't been seen in the game up until this point. But just before I get started, make sure that you like and subscribe with notifications turned on to see when I post future videos. So I am a bit slow to talk about this as I've been very busy in real life, but on the 28th of February, Flipswitch Games posted on their Patreon page a bunch of new posts showing off more tripod work, new weapons, UI changes, NPC interactions, and also footage of how the game now looks on the conversion to the HDRP, which is high definition render pipeline. So starting off with the smaller stuff, we've got to see a new video of the first tripod rising out of the ground, and while it largely looks the same, the animations are a lot smoother and there's no spazzing out, which is, from what I've read in previous posts, to do with the new tripod design. Supposedly this one is a lot easier to work with and not only looks better but helps improve the game's performance as well, which this is obviously one of the top goals to achieve before this game gets pushed out to early access. It is very cool to see like some of these things that have been in the game for quite a while getting more refined and looking more and more like a finished product. Obviously we've still got a ways to go, but still. Also, I just want to clarify, because obviously this is all Patreon stuff, I can't show you what the new things are, but I can talk about it. So unfortunately you've still got to look at some old gameplay, but I'm really hoping we get some new gameplay soon because a lot of the stuff is really cool that I'm going to talk about. The next post was talking about copyright concerns, and I know I've brought this up a couple of times, so I'm just going to skim over this post and just say that we've been shown new screenshots and comparisons between the new 100% accurate tripod versus their current new backup design to show that it still looks good and very similar to the movie design, but the intention is to have it fully implemented into the game but not activated. So if they do need to get rid of the 100% accurate tripod, they can just essentially flip a switch, see what I did there, and change the tripod over to the backup in an emergency. The next post was talking about the HDRP conversion, and we got to see the first iteration of HDRP in action, and we got some reassurance that it will look even better in the future as they plan to add ray tracing, DLSS, FSR, I don't know what that is, and also more other things. The intention is to get the graphics and lighting up to a quality that can basically compete with Unreal Engine 5, which to me that's pretty good going. If they can get it to that level, then great. Next up we have a new character controller and inventory system, as well as crafting and building mechanics. There was only a quick video, but we got to see a more minimalist UI and it looks pretty good actually, as well as quite an intuitive menu for crafting weapons, like for example a bow and arrow, which we can, that's going to be really cool. I mean, I know we talked about that in the past, I'm actually really glad that's going to be in. We also get to make things such as barricades, shelters, campfires, sleeping bags, storage crates and more. This is really exciting because it's basically hinting that we'll be able to set up a base almost anywhere on the map. Barricades, I'm presuming, is for blocking up doors and windows, and I'm not sure how effective they'll be at actually stopping a tripod from getting to you. It will conceal you, I imagine, therefore making it so you could theoretically hold up in a building in a town somewhere, but we'll have to wait for more info on that. More things to do with inventory. There will now be weight to items, so if you're carrying too much you'll slow down. This means that you won't be able to just go around hoovering up everything that you see, and will make you have to actually think carefully about what you bring with you. And on top of that, the ability to change your clothing and character's appearance, which is super cool. Now moving on back to the weighted items, I really like this mainly because what it means is when you're going around looting, you won't be able to grab everything and you'll have to actually remember where stuff is if you want to come back and get stuff later. So you'll be able to, it'll basically force you to revisit certain areas, because what you don't want to have is you do one lap around the map hoovering up everything and then you've just got nowhere to go and you're just sitting out the invasion. I like that it's going to send you back to places, so there's more chance of encountering people, more chance of encountering aliens and tripods, and it's going to be really interesting. I think it's going to keep it scary. It's going to stop the game getting stale. Now this next post I want to talk about is probably the most interesting one here in my opinion, and that is NPC update progress. Essentially we get to see some NPC interaction, like robbing them at gunpoint or giving them supplies in exchange for hints to find good loot, all fully voiced by members of the community as well. Speaking of which, I have finished my voice lines and sent them in, and I believe they're already being added to the game. Hopefully I will get sent some footage soon of my voice lines in the game, which I may ask if I can show them to you because it will be quite interesting. I did take a lot of your feedback on that, and I've implemented some nods to the musical and the film, so I'm really hoping that you like the dialogue lines that I went with in the end. I might still do more in the future if he needs more, but for now I'm quite happy with what's in there. But the main thing is, this is technically a new feature to the game that hasn't been shown before, and it's another thing for us to do in the game and change how we play, therefore increasing its quality of life and replayability, which are all good things. Now the last post I have to talk about is new weapons. We got a short clip of different weapons being tried out, including melee weapons like a bat, a knife and an axe. Well, no, there was already an axe in the game, but yeah, my point still stands. We got to see some new guns as well, like the FAMAS, AK-47, MP5, revolver, even a crossbow, as well as a sawn-off double-barreled shotgun and a hunting rifle and a few other bits and pieces, including a hand grenade. This is actually great news because the early access build will come with about a dozen weapons right out of the gate and a good variety of weapons too. One interesting thing that I did see was, it wasn't really highlighted, but it was on like this weapon wall where you could see all of the guns. There was glass bottles, which makes me think that you'll either be able to make Molotov cocktails, or more likely you'll be able to throw these glass bottles as bait to lure enemies away from your position, which is just, you know, really nice attention to detail if that's the case, and it's going to make it so you can do a bit more stealth. And that, my friends, is everything I have to talk about for now. There was a lot to go through, but I did try and keep it to the most important stuff, and I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts on these new features in the comments below. I think the game is still quite a ways off from being ready, but it is good to see the game getting more fleshed out with new features, because it's been pretty stale up until this point with just refining and redoing what's already in. So to start seeing new features comes in is really nice to see, because it means there's more to talk about that's not just the same stuff. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like, as it will help me out a great deal, and if you want to support me with your hard-earned cash and become a member, that would be amazing and I'd be incredibly grateful to you. Thank you to my existing members for continuing to do that, I really do appreciate you. Alternatively, you could just subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, that would be fantastic as well. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you very soon.